The Bundesliga rounds the bend this weekend as they head for home in the second half of the season. And it's an interesting race at the top of the table, a position where defending champions Bayern Munich find themselves in third place and 4 points off the top. RB Leipzig are the side streaking out in front. And an interesting one to start off with Schalke taking on Borussia Monchengladbach on the Friday night as the action gets back underway. So your thoughts where we stand at the halfway stage?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things the Bundesliga do well. They winter break, they give the guys a rest. You know, much deserved rest as well. You know, it gets very, particularly for the weather as well over there in Germany. And what we tend to see is a quite exciting second half of the season. The one thing is that, for the bigger squads, it's a chance, and I'm thinking about Bayern Munich who are hanging around there, a chance to go away and rest and get some of those key players fit. Sort of hanging on to the coattails of Leipzig, who have been really impressive. Although I did see them play just before the winter shutdown, and defensively they looked a little bit of a shambles. They're not alone because Dortmund are very similar. So I think lots of things for them to work on. If they are going to win the Bundesliga, I think Leipzig will have to improve defensively. I think that's the big thing going forward. They've been very exciting, as quite a lot of the teams in the Bundesliga have. I mean, Dortmund are exciting to watch, but the reason they're not further up the table is because defensively, as a structure, they've been quite poor at times. And I think that would be the one thing from Bayern Munich's perspective, who haven't got the greatest backline in the world, I'll give you that. But I think have better players clearly in that position than those teams that I mentioned. So great for Leipzig and the likes of Mönchengladbach, and great for the Bundesliga that we have this scenario. But it's up to these teams now to kick on that good 4 or 5 months work they did before the winter shutdown. Yeah,
traditionally Bayern Munich don't find themselves in this position all that often, although it happened last year where they had just the one side to chase down in Dortmund. And really had their own issues to sort out. They do have a few issues, obviously defensively, injuries have played a big part, trying to find strength in depth in the wide areas, which have traditionally again been really good for them in terms of sourcing attacks for Lewandowski for his service. Are they under Hansi Flick? Are they going to be able to, I want to say, just regenerate the kind of energy that they need at this point to do what they did last year? Is it going to be harder for them with other teams around them all pushing?
Yeah, I think it will be harder for them, because I think the quality of the other teams is because as you said, it was Dortmund before, and there was one or two, and then they fell away. It doesn't seem as if, particularly Leipzig, but maybe Leipzig and Gladbach are going to fall away a lot. As I said, defensively there are some issues for them. I think Lucien Favre's got other issues at Dortmund. I mean, he's obviously even further behind. His big concern, I think, is probably going to be top, getting in the Champions League places. But I do think Bayern have enough about them. Clearly, they're not making a long-term decision on the coach. I think that's what he's there to the end of the season, isn't he? They're not making a long-term decision on a coach. They're not going to rush out. Clearly, there's no Jupp Heynckes coming back in. He's definitely on his retirement sunbed now. But when you see the form of, like, say, Gnabry, who continues to play well, Kingsley Coman, what can the second half of the season they're going to get from Philippe Coutinho? There is enough there within that Bayern squad. Again, they'll come down to the silly mistakes that they've had at the back. But I think ultimately, it'll be between themselves and Leipzig come the end. I think those two will be the closest come the run-in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
Will the Champions League take up too much of their concentration, do you think? Do you think they have a chance in that?
Yeah, I do think they have a chance. I think all these teams have a chance because there's no standout. Well, I say no standout. I suppose Liverpool are the standout European team at the moment with what they're doing domestically. But then you've got City, defensive problems. PSG have been flaky in the knockout stages. Barcelona changing coaches. I suppose Real Madrid have had a bit of consistency. So I think on any given game, you can't rule Bayern Munich out. So I'm not throwing the towel in saying, we can't beat Liverpool. I mean, and whilst I would say Liverpool are the best side in Europe at the moment, I don't think there's any of those top elite sides against each other you could say, no, it's just not going to happen. They're not going to beat them. So they're going to be fighting on that front as well, for sure.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.